Jacques Chirac, former French president, dies at 86. This is the photo of Jacques Chirac. He was France's second longest-serving post-war president. Jacques Chirac, the former French president whose later years were blighted by corruption scandals, has died aged 86. President Jacques Chirac died this morning surrounded by his family, peacefully, his son-in-law told the French news agency AFP. Mr. Chirac served 2 terms as French president and took his country into the single European currency. The French National Assembly observed a minute's silence in his memory. News from BBC and biography from Wikipedia. All photos may not represent the story. Watch to learn English the way you've learned your mother tongue, as this video is especially made. Jean-Claude Juncker, the president of the European Commission and former Luxembourg premier, said he was moved and devastated to learn the news. Europe is not only losing a great statesman, but the president is losing a great friend, Mr. Juncker said in a statement. Chirac was born in 1932, the son of a bank manager. He served as head of state from 1995 to 2007, making him France's second longest-serving post-war president after his socialist predecessor François Mitterrand. His health steadily deteriorated after he stepped down until his death on Thursday. Chirac also served as the French prime minister, but was beset by a series of corruption scandals. In 2011 he was convicted of diverting public funds while serving as the mayor of Paris. Among his major domestic political reforms was a reduction of the presidential term of office from 7 to 5 years. He moved from anti-European Gaullism to championing a European Union constitution that was then rejected by French voters. In 2003, he was as the focus of opposition to the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. In 2005 he suffered a stroke in 2005, and in 2014, his wife Bernadette said he would no longer speak in public, noting that he had memory trouble. Jacques-René Chirac was born on the 29th of November 1932. He was a French politician who served as President of France and ex officio co-Prince of Andorra from 1995 to 2007. Chirac was previously the Prime Minister of France from 1974 to 1976 and from 1986 to 1988, as well as the Mayor of Paris from 1977 to 1995. After completing his degree at Sciences Po, a term at Harvard University, and the École Nationale d'Administration, Chirac began his career as a high-level civil servant, and entered politics shortly after. Chirac occupied various senior positions, including Minister of Agriculture and Minister of the Interior. Chirac's internal policies initially included lower tax rates, the removal of price controls, strong punishment for crime and terrorism, and business privatization. After pursuing these policies in his second term as Prime Minister, he changed his views. He argued for more socially responsible economic policies, and was elected president in the 1995 presidential election with 52.6% of the vote in the second round, beating socialist Lionel Jospin, after campaigning on a platform of healing the social rift. Fracture social. Then, Chirac's economic policies based on de regime, allowing for state-directed investment, stood in opposition to the laissez-faire policies of the United Kingdom under the ministries of Margaret Thatcher and John Major, which Chirac famously described as Anglo-Saxon ultraliberalism. He was also known for his stand against the American-led assault on Iraq, his recognition of the collaborationist French government's role in deporting Jews, and his reduction of the presidential term from 7 years to 5 through a referendum in 2000. At the 2002 French presidential election, he won 82.2% of the vote in the second round against the far-right candidate, Jean-Marie Le Pen. During his second term, however, he had a very low approval rating, and was considered one of the least popular presidents in modern French history. On 15 December 2011, the Paris court declared Chirac guilty of diverting public funds and abusing public confidence, and gave him a 2-year suspended prison sentence. Chirac was born in the Geoffroy St. Hilaire Clinic, Paris VE. He was the son of Abel François-Marie Chirac (1898–1968), a successful executive for an aircraft company, and Marie-Louise Vallet (1902–1973), a housewife. His great-grandparents on both sides were peasants, but his two grandfathers were teachers from Saint Ferréolais in Corrèze. According to Chirac, his name originates from the Languedoc, that of the troubadours, therefore that of poetry. He is a Roman Catholic. Chirac was an only child. His elder sister, Jacqueline, died in infancy before his birth. He was educated in Paris at the Cours Hattemer, a private school. He then attended the Lycée Carnot and the Lycée Louis le Grand. After his baccalaureate, he served for 3 months as a sailor on a coal transporter. Chirac played rugby union for Brive's youth team, and also played at university level. He played No. 8 and second row. In 1956, he married Bernadette Chaudron de Courcelles, with whom he had 2 daughters, Laurence and Claude. Claude has long worked as a public relations assistant and personal advisor, while Laurence, who suffered from anorexia nervosa in her youth, did not participate in the political activities of her father. Chirac is the grandfather of Martin Ray Chirac by the relationship of Claude with French judoka Thierry Ray. Jacques and Bernadette Chirac also have a foster daughter, Anne Doutraxel. Inspired by General Charles de Gaulle, Chirac started to pursue a civil service career in the 1950s. During this period, he joined the French Communist Party, sold copies of L'Humanité, and took part in meetings of a communist cell. In 1950, he signed the Soviet-inspired Stockholm Appeal for the abolition of nuclear weapons, which led him to be questioned when he applied for his first visa to the United States. In 1953, after graduating from the Paris Institute of Political Studies, he attended Harvard University's summer school, before entering the ENA, the Grande École Nationale School of Administration, which trains France's top civil servants, in 1957. Chirac trained as a reserve military officer in armored cavalry at Saumur, where he was ranked first in his year. He then volunteered to fight in the Algerian War, using personal connections to be sent despite the reservations of his superiors. His superiors did not want to make him an officer because they suspected he had communist leanings. After leaving the ENA in 1959, he became a civil servant in the Court of Auditors. Chirac remained married, but had several other relationships. On the 26th of September 2019, Jacques Chirac passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family. His elder daughter suffered from anorexia and spent time as a mental health inpatient. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.